Here we are, archery country. Obviously, if you're in Austin, Texas, you can come here, but really this video is about you getting into archery, getting into bow hunting, and you just gotta find your local bow shop. So let's go inside. I already have Tank dialed up inside here. He's waiting for us, and he's kind of gonna give us the rundown a little bit. Tank,
what's up, brother?
For me, like, I get the question all the time, right? Like, how do I get into bow hunting? And what do I need to know? And so I always just tell people, like, the first thing you need to do is get your draw length measured.
Absolutely. Because
then you kind of know what draw length you are, because a lot of people ask about buying like a used bow, but really my whole thing with that is, like, if I can get you into a bow shop,
right,
to get your draw length measured, then they can ask a lot more of the questions that I'm not able to ask.
For sure. Well, and it's one of those things too, that if you're coming into a bow shop, even if you have a used bow on the mind, we can tell you, like, hey, this bow will work for you. This is your draw length. These are the things that we may end up having to do to that bow as an added expense to where it will fit you now.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is normally just walking through the door.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, that's the thing, people, is like, you have to get past the intimidation.
Absolutely.
Of, like, coming into a place where everybody knows what they're talking about, and, like, this is something you've never done. So you have to get good at sucking at something. You're gonna suck at archery when you first start. That's no big deal. We all started somewhere, right? Like,
yeah, including the guys behind the counter, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There was a point where all of us grabbed a bow for the first time, right? There's a point where we learned how to sight in a bow. We're no different than everybody that's walking through the door. We're just a couple years ahead of them, right? So keep that in mind as you come through a pro shop. We're just like you. I mean, we were there. We brought in that old PSE that's 20 years old and walked in and we're like, hey, can I get strings for it? And somebody educated us, you know?
For me, if you can build a relationship with somebody who works at your local bow shop, like, let's say I lived here in Austin and Tank was my guy, then I could come in and get my bow worked on, because it's something where it's gonna eventually go out of tune, or you're gonna need new strings on it.
Things happen too, right? So pretty much every pro shop, we're gonna carry bows that mainly have a lifetime warranty, right? And there's a reason. Is 10 years down the line, if you have a limb start cracking or something like that, it's a phone call away. I call my rep, he gets limbs coming, and we got them on your bow, you're out hunting, right? And I would say that's probably gonna be like the number one benefit of buying new, going to a pro shop is, one, you immediately go through the walkthrough, right? Like what we're about to do is we go through the form finish. You know that you're starting on top of the hill, not the bottom, right? Which is a big one for bow hunters. When you walk out of here, you want to know that you at least have the potential to be accurate, right?
Yeah, let's just give you like a brief overview of a bow shop. Like, you can see right over here.
So we've got Hoyt,
Hoyt,
PSE, Elite, and Prime, and then Matthews as well.
Yep. So they got a lot of the bigger brands. And honestly, these days, like, all the brands,
everybody makes a good bow.
Everybody makes like good bows, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's come in, try a couple different ones and see which one speaks to you.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before, but it's one of those deals where if there was one bow that worked better than all the other ones, my job would be a lot easier. That'd be the only bow I sold. That'd be what you shoot, right? If you walk into any pro shop, just look behind the counter and check out those bows back there, right? For us, we've got 5 guys on staff. We all shoot really well, and we all shoot something totally different, right? It's all because it's what feels good to us, what we have confidence in, which if you're hunting, confidence is king.
This is a bare bow, right?
Right.
Like, I can't shoot this right now. So there's no D-loop on it, there's no peep, no rest, no sight, and then we can go through some of the other things that you can put on your bow, but those are the basics. Main thing, right, is we're trying to get you shooting, so you can go home, you can go shoot.
Yeah, outside of the bow, there's 3 things you absolutely have to have, right? You need a rest, you need a sight, you need a release, and then I guess arrows as well, so 4.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the main things. When you're new to shooting, there are some things that I would recommend save your money on, and there's going to be some things, especially if you know you're going to be gung-ho about it, that go ahead and invest that money because you're going to be there anyway. And I'll go through a couple of those things for you.
Yeah, so let's go through. What would you say? Okay, we got the bow. What's next?
So to me, outside of the bow, the most important thing that you can buy for your bow is a rest.
The rest is what holds the arrow in this bow, so it's not just flopping around. Like, when you're back in the day, you just put your finger here and you draw back and shoot. Well, these compounds aren't like that. You need something that holds the arrow
It dictates how well that the arrow comes out of that. It dictates how well that we can tune that bow, which is going to translate to how well you can shoot it, right? So to me, there's 3 different kinds of rests. You have something whisker biscuit, something similar. This is going to be your basic rest, right? It's what we've had forever. It's simple. There's no moving parts. It is what it is. It's hair that's going to glide your arrow as it goes through it. That's what's going to make you accurate, right? It's a great rest, especially if you've got kids, smaller, lighter poundages, things like that. A lot of times, if you're growing, that's what I would recommend. Going from there, as far as when it goes to top tier rest, right? There's really 2 options. You have a limb driven and a cable driven. Depending on what you value, kind of where you want to lean. For me, especially for kind of the new shooter getting into it, I know there can be an argument made against this, but for me, I like QAD. I like a cable driven rest. Reason being, it gives me the ability to lock it up. If you've never bow hunted before, when you get into it, you are going to draw back on your first deer and you are going to be shaking more than you have ever shaken in your entire life. When you have something like this that contains that arrow, even if you're shaking, that arrow has no choice but to stay in that rest.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, that's one of the biggest reasons why I lean you to a cable driven.
I would say that, like, for sure, because like I shoot cable driven, but you don't have to be a beginner. Like, it holds the arrow in there, and then when I'm stalking through the weeds and stuff, my arrow stays in there. Versus, and sometimes I have to draw back in weird positions to where you don't want that thing to fall out.
As far as the whole bow build, once we have a bow, to me, this is the most important. This is where, if you're on a budget, you're kind of looking into things, trying to figure out where you want to be with everything. This is where I would tell you, for sure, spend your money. This is one of those items that you're going to put on your bow. You're never going to think twice about it. If it ever does fail, QAD's got the best warranty in the game. You walk into any pro shop that has them, we pull it out, put one on your bow, you're back in business same day. Now that we have the rest decided, the next thing would be the sight.
Okay.
Now here, there is a ton of different options to go down, right? If you're a brand new shooter watching this video, probably not a popular opinion, but it's my opinion. I stand by it. If you are new, save your money on a sight. Go with something a little bit cheaper, get the basics down, understand how a sight works. That way, when you go from a $50 to $100 sight to that $400, $500, $600, $700 sight, you know what you're buying. A lot of these sights, especially for new shooters, there's a lot more sight than there is knowledge. And so you get a bunch of these benefits that you don't really know how to use. A lot of times that can kind of turn you off of that sight without even understanding it, right? So when you're brand new, save a little bit of money, go to a simple sight, get that first year under your belt, right? Go hunt with it, go shoot with it, shoot some tournaments, see how your pin drop works, everything like that. And then that way, when you come into it and you're like, oh man, I want that triple stack boonie or whatever it may be, you have a little bit of knowledge going into it that, hey, you know, I had a 5-pin, but a 3-pin just is a little less cluttered. Yeah. Or I can't see anything, I'm blind, I need one single pin because whenever I have 3 to 5, it starts blurring up, right? So that's where I would lean you.
Yeah, so let's talk about, like, when you draw your bow back and you're looking through your sight, the way it works is you're looking through a round thing like this, and it has little fiber optic pins, okay? So that's what all these have. That's why they're round and they got the fiber optic pins. When you're talking about a 3-pin versus a 5-pin, basically, let's just go from the basic 3-pin. Most guys will set those up at 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards. So then anything I see right here that's 20, 30, 40 yards, I can shoot. I know where to aim. And the reason that they're separated is because my top one's 20 and the bottom one's 30, 40. Because that bottom one, when it's 40 yards away, I got to raise the bow up because the arrows drop like this the further away you get. So that's why that pin, you raise it up. So then when you go to like a 5-pin, you could do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I will tell you, if you're just getting into archery, 20, 30, 40, for you to start getting accurate at 40 yards, it's going to take you a little bit. Like, you're gonna have to put in some time.
Absolutely.
And that's what's so fun about it. And like, it's a challenge. Even being accurate at 20, you're going to want to give yourself some time and shoot that distance until you're really grouping them at 20. And then you're going to go to 30, and then you're going to go to 40. And 3-pin, 20,
No,
30,
for
40,
sure.
you're going to be there for a while.
Well,
and a lot of hunting is done in that
right.
range.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too, right? In the kind of world of social media, everybody wants to brag about how far they can shoot.
Yep.
Which when we're shooting on a target, that's awesome, right? Like I love to go drop bombs. That's what
Yeah.
Total Archery Challenge has had
fun.
such a success with. There is a difference between a good archer and a good bow hunter, right?
Yeah.
A good archer tries to see how far he can hit accurately. A good bow hunter tries to see how close he can get to that animal.
For sure.
I know, at 80 yards, I can hit a paper plate every time. But there's so many variables that go in between here and there that you could make the best shot of your life. And that deer, takes one step forward, and that heart shot now is liver, and we've got a 4-hour track job, right? And so going into it, that is something to think about is, I love to shoot far. We all do. If you start shooting, you will be there eventually too. But when you're hunting, there's really 20, 30, 40. And when you're new, that is the distance that you want to keep inside.
Yeah. So yeah, he's right in saying like you can get away with a cheaper sight with maybe like a 3-pin.
Absolutely.
If you're dead serious and you're into hunting, you're never going to give it up and you're going to do whatever it takes for the next couple of years to get good at archery, and then you want to go hunting, I would say, yeah, maybe you can roll into a better sight right away. But like if you're just trying to get started, all you need is a pin that's there that tells you, okay, if you aim this pin at 20 yards, you're going to hit where you want to hit.
Right.
These would all do that.
Old school folks used to take toothpicks, dip it in fingernail paint, tape it to their bow, and that's how they would use it, right? So it can be done a lot cheaper than we were doing it. It is just a point of indication, right? It is telling you this is where you need to aim to be accurate.
We picked out our rest.
We've got our rest. We've got our sight.
So
now we talk arrows. So this is going to be really specialized in what you're thinking about doing, right? A new shooter, trust me when I tell you, go simple on it.
Yeah.
You are going to lose some arrows. It's a lot easier on the wallet whenever you lose $10 arrows than $20 arrows. They're all going to do a great job. There's good arrows in every price point, right? And so brand new shooter, go a little bit cheaper, get some experience under your belt, get that bow sighted in. And then if you decide, then we can talk into some higher arrows, things like that.
If you're going into a bow shop, you want to find somebody that you like talking to, right? Like I like Tank. I can come talk to him. I can ask him questions. I like, Tank, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I can trust his opinion. So you really need to find somebody that you trust. And so I'm going to trust Tank. I'm going to go in and same thing with you guys. If you're going in, you want to talk to them about arrows. If you've built this trust with them, you could probably ask them what you're going to hunt or what your options are. So world famous dirt biker Malcolm Smith used to own a motorcycle shop, and somebody came in and bought a new motorcycle and had money left over in their budget, and we're like, hey, what other accessories should I get in here? And he's like, hey, go spend that money on gas.
Right. Yeah.
So go spend that money, and for archery maybe a little different, but it's like, hey,
go pack of lessons, man,
and go and get some reps in. That's what you need. That's what's going to make you more accurate.
Absolutely.
So consistency and get reps. And there will be a time where tuning your bow and all these things will matter. But right now, let's get you a bow that you're comfortable with and then get some reps. So going back to what you were saying about cutting your arrows to your draw length, that is the first step. And we missed that step earlier. So having me come in here.
Right.
So I'm going to have Tank measure my draw length, and then he can kind of go from there. And when it goes to setting up this bow, he's going to need that draw length to set this bow up.
For sure.
Is that what we're at that point, right? Because we got the arrow. Well, what arrow are we going to go? I think, so for me, I've shot Easton Access arrows for a long time. The person who got me into bow hunting did it kind of what Tank said. Like, we got a cheap set of arrows. I got a dozen.
Right.
Of just like, I don't even know, no name arrows, whatever. And he's like, go rep these 20, 30 yards until you lose them, break them, whatever. And then get yourself a set of hunting arrows. And then the set of hunting arrows, which came from the bow tech at the bow shop, was like, hey, I hunt with these, and they happen to be Easton Access ones.
For sure.
And I hunted with those for a long, long time. And I still do. Like, I go back and forth with different ones, but like the Easton Access ones.
Oh, they're as solid as you can get.
So I think that's what we're going to set up this bow with. But not to say that we couldn't shoot any of these other arrows.
For sure. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure your draw length. I'll figure that out, and then I'm going to start slapping stuff on the bow.
Okay, here's the bow.
All right.
And, okay, we'll go get my draw length measured up.
When you walk into a shop, this tends to be one of the first things we do. It gives us a couple different things. Obviously, it's going to tell me your draw length, but depending on your draw length, it can kind of steer me in what direction of bow to grab, right? The shorter you are in draw length, tend to be the shorter axle to axle we go. That way you get the most efficiency out of that cam. So I'll show you kind of how we measure a draw length. So I'm going to measure your wingspan.
Yep.
If you'll spin around, I'm going to measure off your back.
Okay.
There you go. Thumbs up, fingers out. Nope, fingers out.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I'm just going to measure directly off your back. One thing when I'm doing this is make sure that that tape is flush against his back. It's not bowed out and it's not pressed in. So I've got you. All right.
And this real quick, like we're going to kind of show you just so you know what you're getting into, but your bow tech's really going to be the one, like if he does this a little bit different way, that's okay. Like,
no, absolutely.
Like he has his ways of doing it, but when he goes to set the bow up and he sees you draw the bow back, that's when he can fine tune it
for
however he wants, and which you need to trust like him, but this is the way Tank does it. And it's like, it's pretty standard, honestly.
And it's one of those things, it's going to get us close, right? It may not be perfect, but we'll be in the ballpark enough to where we're not going to get string slap. It's not going to feel outrageous. And then once I see you at full draw, I can really hone in that draw length.
Okay, so you
all right.
With my measurement?
I'm good with your measurement. We got you at 28 and a half.
28 and a half. That's, don't tell anybody, that's my secret measurement. That's how I kill all my animals. Okay, Tank's got the thing all set up here, and he's going to go ahead and start installing the rest and kind of going through the process that he needs to go through to get that set up. And then we'll go rest and de-loop and sight and get the peep in, and then we'll be ready to kind of test fire some stuff. And this is stuff that the bow tech's going to do. So, I mean, someone who's just getting into archery and bow hunting, you don't really need to know.
No, not at all.
Like,
and honestly, I would encourage you to not just focus on shooting.
Like, there's so many videos out there, I feel like, on how to work on your bow, which is amazing. And I would like to get there someday, but I still trust my bow tech to work on my stuff. For sure. And so like you can get a little caught in the weeds, and two, you can turn into one of those people that's like, oh, I saw this. Why are you doing it that way? Right. I saw this online. Tank, how many bows have you set up this year?
Minimum of 1,000.
1,000 bows. Okay, so if you're the guy who's at home who sets one bow up a year, maybe. Right. This guy's got, in 1 year, he's got 1,000 times more reps than you. So this is where I say, like, you want to go to a bow shop. You want to have these guys work on your stuff. That way it's someone you can trust and can give you the confidence. Well, I'm not ragging on anybody who wants to learn this side, but if you're just getting into archery, dude, the funnest part about archery is shooting some damn arrows and hitting some bullseyes. It's not tinkering around with this.
Well, and when you start messing with this, right, especially when you're new, you can come with that paralysis by analysis, right, where you are so in the weeds on everything that eventually you get to the point where you don't know which way is up. Yeah. I can guarantee you every good bow shop knows what they're doing on this. The initial setup is one of the most important parts, especially when you're new. Go get lunch. Give them time. Let them build this thing out. You don't need to care about what we're doing back here right now. Now, eventually you may get there, but at that point, you've probably developed enough of a relationship with the shop that we're teaching you as we go, right?
Different bows come at different draw lengths, so that's where he's going to measure that draw length, because like he said, he's going to look at for what bow will work for you, because some are built for bigger dudes and some are built for smaller people. And then also your draw weight, how much weight you can pull. Right. So really how strong you are. And it's such a weird muscle if you're just getting into it. Honestly, even if you're pretty fit, it's such a weird muscle that you never used in your entire life. So don't feel bad. Like, no, I've had big, strong dudes. I shoot like 65, 70 pounds. My friends are fit. Trust me, they like are fit people. Oh, absolutely. And they have struggled to pull my bow back or can't. So,
and that's a big one, right? Like when you walk into a bow shop for the first time, a lot of this, especially for guys, is ego, right? Yeah, totally. Like we have that thought of like, well, Joe Rogan shoots 90 pounds, Cam Haid shoots 80 pounds. Yeah. So I want to be able to beat on my chest and tell what I do as well. Mm-hmm. A slow hit is always better than a fast miss. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be able to shoot smooth. Also, if you are moving like this to get a bow back, there's not going to be a deer in the county when you get ready to shoot it, right? So that ego goes so far. For me, the biggest ego filler is meat on the table. So kind of keep that in mind going into it. What you start at is probably not what you're going to finish at.
Right.
And it comes so fast. 10 arrows a day for 2 weeks and we'll be increasing that poundage.
Yep. And so you can adjust. So this bow, this one is actually a 60-pound bow. Usually I shoot a 70-pound bow. So my 70-pound bow can be tuned down to about 60, right? Is it
For sure.
like around 10?
Yeah.
It's like around 10 pounds. So like my 70-pound, we can turn it down by turning these limbs down. That's something your bow tech can do for you. But this one's a 60-pound one, so we can actually turn this one down to like 50.
Yep.
Which, so you can start, so it's easier to pull. It takes 50 pounds of pull and power. Then you can shoot. When you're doing a bunch of reps, you're gonna get sore, but get your reps in, get your muscles built up, and then you can come back into the shop and they can tighten it down a little bit and make it more pounded.
For sure. And it's all what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'd be lying to you if it wasn't ego-based for me as well, right? I shoot 80 pounds, I enjoy it, but I can draw it smooth. That being said, whenever I go shoot 3D, I'm not taking that bow out to go shoot 50, 100 arrows, right? I have a target bow that's specifically set up for that, that's sitting at about 57 pounds. That's a bow that I can go and I can shoot 500 arrows in a day, and I'm still going to be relatively comfortable doing it, right? So kind of keep that in mind. Especially a lot of guys, they're going to get that bow at the end of the year, you know, income tax time comes for all of us. You're not hunting anything in June. So bite the bullet, drop that poundage, get comfortable, just solidify that form, and then let's increase that poundage.
I said 430.
Tank got the bow all set up, right? He did his Bowtech magic. Right? Bowtech? That's what you guys call yourself?
Yes, sir. Tech.
Yes. Yeah. So
Archery professional.
archery professionals. He's got the sight put on here. It's as simple as just screwing the sight on, right? But he went through and made sure it was all level, which is something you're going to hear people talk about: first access, second access, third access. As a beginner archer, I'm going to say don't worry about any of that stuff. Your job is just to go shoot and get good, and then you can worry about that stuff later. But the Bowtech did have to go through here and level your sight out, and that's so when you see your sight here, it's got a bubble level, and you're going to put that bubble in between these two little black lines, and that's going to tell you that your bow is level. Because if you have your bow like this, it's going to shoot different from like this, and especially when you start going up and down, you're shooting up and down hills and stuff, or out further distances, that's where that thing's going to be different. He's got the rest on here, so that'll hold your arrow. It's got the D-loop. We're going to go with a wrist strap on this one, and I'll walk you through, and Tank will walk me through what it's like getting used to a wrist strap. I do have a thumb release as well, and we could probably shoot that with the same D-loop.
Absolutely.
But you kind of going to have to lean on your Bowtech's advice on what release you should shoot, and just know whatever it is that you pick, just spend some time with it and get comfortable.
Right.
Because it may feel uncomfortable when you first start, and this is something you're just going to have to put reps in and get comfortable with it.
Yeah, time behind the bowstring is number one. Yeah. I tend to lean new shooters to a wrist strap for the simple fact that most of us have always pulled a trigger. Yeah. So there's so much that's going on when we get a new bow that feels foreign, that I do like to have something that still feels like home. With the front hand, everything feels out of whack. And so having that backhand to where you at least kind of understand inherently how that release operates tends to work out downrange. Okay. Like you were saying, I think whatever you get is a good release. Just stick with it, shoot it, reps. But yeah, there's a bunch of different options, and find what feels good to you.
Yeah, and like these are all different releases and different wrist straps, but really I would just say find one, shoot them, find one that's comfortable for you, talk to your Bowtech and get his advice. I already have the wrist strap on, so like you can see how it works. I'll try to get this thing to focus on it right here. So the bowstring's gonna go right here, and then basically your finger's gonna pull the trigger and it's gonna release the bowstring. So This wrist strap is on your wrist. And then this is what you call a release. With a compound bow, that's kind of what we're talking about here, right? Like, because recurve or long bow, you can just use your fingers. Well, compound bows, you're not going to use your fingers.
There was a time where that was a popular thing to do. The 90s are gone. These bows are designed to be shot with a wrist strap. And honestly, you can do a lot more harm by shooting with fingers. They're just not designed to be shot like that.
Yeah. I would say that this is a huge intimidating factor to coming to a bow shop. You need to just like be humble enough. Listen, like I said at the beginning, you're gonna suck at stuff. You got to be okay with sucking at it to move forward.
Also, another thing to understand, right? If it wasn't for the people that are walking in this door, none of us would have jobs. We genuinely appreciate whenever you're coming in, you're wanting to spend money with us, right? Like most of us, and I would say this, pretty much every bow tech, right? None of us are doing it for the money. We're doing it for the love of the game. And so understand when you're walking in there, we may look cranky, we might look grumpy, things like that. I promise you, if you sit down and talk for 2 minutes, you're going to understand we want you to shoot more than you want to shoot, right? And so going into it, I understand, especially the old school shops, everybody's like, well, there was this crotchety old man behind the counter. Even that crotchety old man behind the counter, 9 times out of 10, as soon as you start saying like, hey, I'm new to this, I want to shoot, he is going to be gung-ho to help you, right? Yeah. So going through, like you have never shot a bow before.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, one thing that I'm going to let you know. So on pretty much every arrow that you find, you're going to have 2 matching colors and 1 odd. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be 2 of one color and a white vein. When you get ready to shoot, that white vein will always go up, and you're going to clip this knock in between this D-loop. Now, when you push this in, you're going to feel it and you're going to hear it. You always want to make sure you hear that click. That's letting you know.
Let's get that click. Go. Oh, you hear that?
So that's going to let you know that that arrow is seated and ready to shoot. Now, different rests are a little different. We're working with a QAD today. So what you'll do with that QAD is this little button just locks that rest up. And now it's ready to shoot. So from here, the bow is ready to shoot. Now we work on the shooter, right? So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. I'm not going to say that my method is right, but it's what's worked for me for a really long time. So it's the way that I'm going to teach y'all. Right off the bat, what I would tell a new shooter, make a fist with your right hand. Okay.
I have 7 stitches in this finger, so we're going to make a fist with my finger sticking out a little bit.
So when you draw the bow back, you're going to draw with your hand perfectly flat, just like that.
Okay.
From there, what I want you to do, and this is going to be your first anchor point, is I want you to take that top knuckle on your index finger, and I want you to put it right behind your earlobe.
Perfect.
What you're going to find is there's a hole right here, right below your earlobe where your jaw rolls in.
Yep.
It's kind of a pressure point. It almost hurts a little bit when you put your knuckle back there.
Yep.
So when you draw back, you can always find that spot, whether you're wearing a mask, whatever it may be. So number 1 is going to be that knuckle. So I'm going to pass this bow to you.
Yep.
And I'll get you to draw it back for me.
We're good?
We're good. So you're going to push, pull, and then knuckle behind that earlobe.
Okay. So a knuckle behind the earlobe.
So my next step when we're finding anchor points is going to be that tip of the nose on the string. So as you can see, so we've got our knuckle behind the earlobe, tip of the nose on the string, and then kind of a bonus anchor for me. And the reason that I do it this way is you've also got that string coming off the corner of your mouth. So you've got 3 solid anchor points you can find every single time, no matter what. So from here, you can go ahead and rip one real quick. I know I need to move that tape up.
So finger goes in front of the trigger.
And just a slow squeeze. Easy money.
So when Tank's talking about these anchor points, this is something that a good bow tech is going to look at your form. Okay. This is where your draw length comes in, because if my draw length, if the bow's set up wrong and I have too long of a draw length, mine's 28.5. If I have a 30-inch draw length, this arm's going to be super stretched out. The string's going to be coming way back here. This knuckle's never going to find that anchor point.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be way back here and it'll never find the anchor point.
A good way to kind of tell, right, is if you were going to hold this bow down by your waist, right, just kind of let it hang. and then pick it up and point like you're going to shoot. That's how your arm should be, right? We naturally kind of know where to be in that slot. What happens is as we draw and we feel that poundage go against our hand, we tend to roll up this shoulder, and that's when we overextend because we're not getting that full length anyway.
Yeah.
When you're a new shooter, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I kind of bypass, right? What I tell most people, especially when it's their first day in here, it's not super hard to get you to where you're hitting a group like that, right? Like about the size of like a dinner plate or something like that.
Yeah.
What really kind of, in order for us to get from here to here, that's when we're going to really start adding on the little things, right? But when you're a new shooter, I just want you as accurate as I can get you, right? So anchor points, that knuckle nose, being relaxed is a really big one. And that's something that I'm going to really hone in on the range. A bow will fight you as much as you fight a bow, right? And so if you're in it and you're trying to make everything sit still and you're trying to make it do what you want it to do, it's just going to fight you as hard as you're doing that to it. Vice versa, if you can sit back, relax, stare where you want to hit, that pin is going to come up and hang out, and we'll go through that here in a second as well.
Cool. So shoot it again. Good.
Yes, sir. So push, pull. So knuckle.
Okay.
And tip of your nose. So with that sitting right there, what are you seeing? Is it a little low still?
Yeah, I've seen come down a little bit.
Come down a little bit?
Yeah. Just a touch. Yep, that's perfect for me right there.
So whenever you're ready, just a slow squeeze. So from here, we tie that peep in, we tie that drop away cord in, and next stop is the range.
So I'll just put the top pin right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Perfect. Easy enough.
And so we're going through, we've got that knuckle and tip of your nose kind of hitting the corner of your mouth, feel that trigger.
Yeah.
And then as you're squeezing, you're just bringing this elbow straight back to me. So you're staring at that bullseye, relaxed, just letting that pin float, and you just slow squeeze. Perfect.
Okay. Correct
Yes,
me if I'm wrong. I shot high, so we moved the sight up.
Yes, sir.
So
Yep.
So you chase the arrow, right? You shoot high, you move the sight in the direction that you hit. So if you hit to the left, you move the sight to the left.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
That's
always
when you're
follow
looking at it right here. So like you're behind the bow, and so this sight right here, if I hit to the left, I want to take this sight and I want to move it to the left. But when we hit to the right, I hit to the right. Right now, we hit high, so we moved it up high.
Yes, sir. Also, when you're new, small adjustments make big differences. So start small. Start smaller than you even think you need. Get a feel of what your bow is doing, and then make those bigger adjustments. I know the old saying is practice makes perfect. That doesn't necessarily apply in archery.
Yeah.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
So if you shoot 100 arrows, 30 really good ones, and then 70 bad ones because you're tired, you're going to just solidify that bad form.
Yeah. So we're just going to get some reps in here, working on my form, consistency every time, tip of my nose.
Elbow coming back to my voice.
Knuckle.
You're just staring right where you want to hit. Okay. Maybe a little bit more.
Yep, same thing. Like our left to right's looking good. And just hitting a little high. You can probably see that target over there. Here.
All right, so I'm going to adjust it. So
We'll leave that arrow in, and he can just adjust it.
Yep. There it is.
So hitting close to center, Tank's smashing it in like 10 yards right now, and it's a little high, but that's perfect because we're going to move back to 20.
For sure.
And then we can kind of start grouping them. So
I'm not going to move the sight at all.
Okay.
And so that way you can kind of see like, hey, your pro shop only has 10 yards, right? Well, if we're hitting 2-3 inches high at 10 yards, then we're probably going to be dead on at 20, and we can kind of show you what that looks like.
Are we 20 here?
We're exactly 20 here. Shoot.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad, Tanky boy.
So when you draw back, I want to be able to come up on this finger and be able to flick these fingers, right? You don't have to be so loose that you're not holding onto the bow and you're shooting straight fingered, but I want you to have a little bit of a curve to it, but not so tight that when you open your hand, you have those white patches.
Yeah. So then this will keep it so you're not torquing that bow.
Money.
Yeah, feels good. Let's shoot that last one.
So with a new shooter, the way that I try to say it is think about you're making a check mark with your hand and you're letting your fingers curve around it. So you're putting that grip right there in that power pad of your palm. And yep. And so if we were right here,
yep,
I put that right in there, and that's exactly how you should grip it.
Yeah, so just so you can see it from the, we move this right here, check this out. Just go right there, shoot right over this damn thing. Just like that.
And you see how his knuckles are sitting at about a 45 degree right here? That's what you want. If we are straight wrist, I have all kinds of wrist flex, right? I can move left, right, up, down, wherever I want. If I am here, now in order for me to move left, right, I'm having to move that elbow and my shoulder. So it's gonna help you hold steady.
Okay, I'll shoot next to my camera so I'm blowing my camera up. Maybe this way will look better, I think. So I'll try to get as close as, so you can see my hand right here, kind of loose-ish front fingers.
Everything in a line, bringing that elbow back. Perfect.
Okay, let's go take a look at this. And this is a lot of shooting form, and you can watch videos on like shooting form, and I would say videoing yourself too is like a huge,
oh, it's huge.
Like video yourself so that you can look back on it and see. But you can see, yeah, 20 yards, we got it in there. Here's a good rule of thumb too, like when it comes to you getting good at shooting, because we're talking about reps, right? Getting these reps in. Basically, I stay at 20 yards till you're getting dialed in, right?
Right.
And an easy one is at 20 yards in a 2-inch group. So if you took a tape measure out here and you went from your furthest arrows that are away from each other, I would say shoot 3 to 5 arrows. The furthest arrows away from each other, measure that distance. Once you get it within 2 inches at 20 yards, then you can move back.
Right.
When you move back, go 10 yards, go to 30. Now 3 inches, 3, 30, 4, 40, 5, 50. I did that when I first started. I made myself stay at 20 until I got 2-inch groups.
Absolutely.
And then I moved my way back. But guess what? The next day, I didn't come back and be like, well, I finished at 40. No, I start back at 20 till you get those groups again. So if you can't get past a 2-inch group at 20, then I wouldn't allow myself to move further back.
Right.
And really, like, I have shot a ton of animals at 20 yards, and that just comes into getting sneaky and stuff. We're not really getting into that with this video, but when you're practicing at home and you're just beginning, I would say that's a good rule of thumb, because a lot of people, you want to shoot further away. It's fun. You see everybody doing it. You see people on the internet shooting far, you know, but like 2-inch group at 20 yards, 3-inch at 30, 4-inch at 40. And I force myself to stay in that range
for sure
until I can get groups.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, right? Like a lot of things can happen from A to B when we're hunting, right? So we owe it to our animals that we're hunting to be as proficient as possible, right? So whenever I'm aiming on that animal, I want to know that I've done my part to be as accurate as I can possibly be. Yeah. And I mean, it's going to make the meat taste better. It's going to make you happier. It's going to make the track shorter. It's just good practice all around. Yeah. So if you're nervous about it, you don't know what to expect, call us up, man. Call your local shop and be like, hey, I am brand new. I don't know what to expect. I'm planning on coming, and just see if they'll give you a rundown. I mean, I know that I'd be happy to do that. We do it all the time. So just because it's new to you doesn't mean it's new to us, right? At the end of the day, every pro shop, we work for y'all. If it wasn't for y'all, we would have to go do real jobs and we couldn't play with bows all day, right? So understand that going into it, that we want to help y'all.
Everybody can thank Tank for all his knowledge.
Hey, we appreciate you, man.
And go get yourself a bow. Go to the local bow shop that you have. Support those guys. Give them some love. And get into archery. It's the funnest thing you'll ever do in your entire life. And it's the most difficult thing you'll do, but it's the most rewarding. When you're hitting a bullseye, how good does that feel?
Oh, nothing better, man.
Nothing better.
It's a lifelong pursuit. It is an absolute lifelong pursuit. And when you think you've got everything figured out, a wheel falls off somewhere and it's back to square one.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. See you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep.